If you affirm that you're a victim, don't you? If you got all the victims out of your life, I promise you by the time the week's over, you're going to have more victimizers. You'll just replace them with another one. How many have gone through that process and know what I just said is true? So our challenge is to do what? If we're going to accept a greater idea and do what? I refuse the verdict if it's limited. I refuse the verdict if it's doubt and it's fear. We find ourselves over and over again understanding the best of ourselves. Everyone say, I choose to approach my life in a wise and spiritual way. In religious science, we interpret the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita. We interpret the Upanishads, we interpret the Bible, we interpret any great teaching, and we just look for a practical way to apply it in the now and not settle for a religion that's based on stories we have to believe. We are based on the principle the story is teaching. Do you hear what I'm saying? Every lesson in the Bible. I heard a thing the other day. They were talking about Zeus and going down to the Netherlands and where all the dead were. And he finally gets the people out of there, and they're leaving. And what are they told? As we leave, the only thing you can't do is look back where you came from. And the ones who did what? See, they just petrified. How many know the story of Lot? What is the same story, isn't it? Okay, they're leaving Sodom and Gomorrah. They're getting out of there, and what are they told? Don't look back, or what? You'll turn into a pillar of salt. And what happens? You go over. I've been over there. How many been over there? Hey, there's the pillar up there. How many bought into that nonsense? Hey, look, there's a pillar. Yeah, right. Yeah, I've been standing here for 2,000 years. Anyhow, the lesson of the story is what? Everyone say, if I look back, I will petrify. See? How many have done that? You want to go forward, but you're spending your time looking backwards, and what happens to you? You petrify. You petrify. You cannot move forward if you're looking backwards. Everyone say, wherever my mind goes, my world follows. A student of this teaching knows how the mind works. They know how spiritual healing works, and they do something about it. This has been the challenge we have had here for 36 years, and I do want to invite all of you to our 36th anniversary. We already have the park set up and ready to go for it, and every year for 36 years we've had a picnic over there, and it's been wonderful. Please come and join us for the picnic at the celebration of that day. But my challenge for 36 years has been the challenge I think that Dr. Craig Carter gave me. And that is, if you want a prosperous church, teach your people to prosper. If you want a happy church, teach your people to be happy. If you want a healthy-minded church, teach your people to be healthy-minded. Don't let it become a club. Don't let it become a little metaphysical club that gets in the way of each other. Let go and let yourself be this in action. I have encouraged people since the very beginning of this teaching is hear it and do something with what you hear. Don't be afraid to be this. The world will try to talk you out of it. How many have already had negative friends try to talk you out of a positive position? Negative relatives try to talk you out of a positive idea. See, they want to do what? If you are still based in a concept that we're here to suffer, that we're here as, to save a wretch like me, forget that nonsense. We are not here to suffer. It is not, we don't have to be ashamed about being alive. We are God's individualization that has never happened before. And when we study this teaching and discover that we can put our faith in action and let it be strong, we find it is unshakable. Why? Because we are doing what? We're letting the world see what we say we know. We're getting over ourselves so we can get on about the things we say we want to do, be, and have. From the very beginning of my teaching, one of my wonderful teachers, I walked up behind their lectern one Sunday morning and I saw a sign, and it said, someone out there cried themselves to sleep last night. And then he had another sign. And it was, someone needs to hear something that will change their life forever. Make sure they hear it this morning. If you walk in here, you're going to hear something every week, whether I'm speaking, Reverend Dar, Reverend Dr. Cynthia, Reverend Mary Jo, Reverend Lacey, whoever the minister is standing here. You're going to leave with something that will change your life for the better. Not because you're here, but because you're here and heard something, you did what? You embodied and did what? Applied in this thing called life. You can spend 15 or 20 years, dear friends, going to workshops, aromatherapy, any other kind of therapy you might want to go to. You can do all of this stuff. You can do acupuncture and energy work and everything else. And I promise you, all you got to do is come here and hear one thing you apply, and that is wonderful. And I'm not putting any of that out, but I'll tell you what will change. If you embody what we teach, it doesn't mean you have to give up all that other stuff, but what you can do with the other stuff is you can use it to let it out and discover you're no longer using it to try to get to it. How many know there's a difference? Okay. See, meditation is designed to do what? Let it out, not get to it. Spiritual practice is designed to do what? Celebrate what you know you are. See, isn't that what Richard did in the opening treatment? I am a mighty moving power of God. See, that's our start. That's our beginning. There's one life. It's God. It's what? Everyone say, it's my life. Now, if that's true, how does that truth describe your world? The way you did before you affirmed that truth, or a new way? How many want something new in your life? How many ready to let it begin with you? Everyone say, let there be peace on earth. Let it begin where? With me. Dr. Holmes said the hand of the eternal progress is brushing the cobwebs from the corridors of time and is again revealing to the human race the mysteries of being. The mysteries of being. We identify in our experience with differentiation. The differentiation between what we do and what happens to us. Everyone say, what happens to me starts with what I do in consciousness. What I do in consciousness starts with my self-definition. My self-definition now improves. I think from the self-definition and move forward. Somebody said once that a myth is an image in terms of which we try to make sense of the world. This is why we look at the myths. Thank you, Joseph Campbell. We'll be teaching a class this summer. I think Reverend Sue just taught one. We'll be doing work. How many are Joseph Campbell fans? Okay. How many understand that what he's doing with that is what? Is looking at the lessons, the stories, the things that have been going on forever, and doing what? How can we apply those stories when? Now. See, not just honor the story, worship the story, memorize the story, tell the story. How about being the lesson of the story? That is the power that you are in action. Somebody said once that our freedom to move forward is something that allows us to stop pretending and start being. Stop just thinking that we can just repeat words over and over and over and over and over and over and change our life. We can do that beautifully if we do what? Choose to be the word in action. Everyone say, I am, that I am. In the beginning, there was the Word. How many want a new beginning this morning? What's your word? Everybody say, unlimited possibility. I'm a mighty moving power of God. As Richard affirmed this morning. Say it. Because he affirmed it for all of us, we're going to accept it. And if you're a mighty moving power of God, how many know with God what? All things are possible. Let possible be your way. Let happiness be your way. Let your answer be your way. What you're looking for is looking for you. It's beautiful and wonderful, and it is that because you are. Understand that and act like you are. And the world changes for the better. Why? Because you have. Let it be your way. Namaste. Ho!